Last night, 7 strangers joined my campfire's flames. They were a rugged band and came from every stratum. The second of them, a short-grown hunter, was decked in all kinds of blades and tools made from the bones of his prey. As he reached out to accept a piece of bread, we could see that instead of 2 of his fingers, he only had oozing stumps. On a bag full of his spoils, he paid for the bread with his words. This is the story he told. There are hunters who prefer to work the caverns alone. We have seen too many of our less experienced companions die from their own distractions and carelessness. Hunters like me know their hunting grounds like the back of their hand and can identify any creature within by their smell. I've faced death quite a few times. You see, these fingers? No, because I paid with them for my life. A terrible beast, vicious and savvy, almost tore me apart. It caught my hand with its maw, and as it ripped my fingers off, I fled, swore to myself that I'll put its fingers onto my belt when I catch it. A few nights ago, I found a tunnel that the last chaos storm must have opened. And there was a smell in the moist air which I would recognize any time. It was the beast. Any stalker knows how this brings your blood to boil. Finally, the time to compete again, to bring it down, had come. I made sure there weren't any other exits growing out of this tunnel and moved forward. The smell grew more potent, as did my grip on my best knife. With every step, the taste of its blood on my lips became more intense. There was no doubt it would be mine. Finally, I could hear it, feel the heat of its presence right around the corner. There was no hesitation as I made my dagger the envoy of my determination. He sped forward and lost the ground beneath my feet. A hole in the ground. I fell. I tried to roll and feather my fall, but hit a protruding rock. All the air was hammered out of my lungs, and I was thrown even further into the depth. After what seemed an eternity, I hit the ground, my entire body screaming in pain. But I knew staying put would be my death. So I rose and breathed in. The air tasted strange, but it numbed the pain. I realized I lost my light and backpack, vital tools for surviving the stratum. and I breathed in the fear for my life. I looked up into the darkness above me, wondering how far away my familiar grounds were, and I breathed in helplessness. I swept my body for any rope or light and found a bone piercing through my leg skin. And I breathed in doom. There was no other exit, only upward. I tried for what must have been hours, breathing out any strength, any hope, any pride, until I was nothing more than a wretched husk. And I breathed in the divine epiphany that even I will be dead, that I am already dead. There's no doubt about it. I'll just have to wait a little bit longer. At this point, my lungs and my blood were filled with the air from the pit. But this air was more than just gas. It was alive. Miasmel, sentient clouds that worship rot and decay. And I fell right into that trap. As I exhaled my last strength, they were happy with my conversion to their belief. They let me go. They told me to become an apostle of their faith, to teach everyone that they are nothing more than mold and waste in waiting. They gave me this as a reminder. So he showed us the oozing wound on his finger stumps, and we huddled closer to the flames and warmed our bones, because we knew the rot hunts all of us.